Tracey was here with when she was with BigCommerce. She was their editor-in-chief. Now she's the founder and owner of Doris Sleep pillows, or is it just Doris Sleep?
It's Doris Sleep. Doris is really what it's called. Doris Sleep kind of came about because I was looking for a URL, and Doris.com was already taken.
Oh.
Yeah, so Doris Sleep it is. I've been wanting to start my own online store for a long time at BigCommerce as the editor-in-chief. I taught other people how to start and run very successful businesses up to 50 mil in annual revenue. But I always had to kind of caveat every time I was teaching people that like, hey, I actually am not a practitioner. I don't actually do this myself. Instead, I interview people who do this, and I kind of group together all of the insights and get those back to people. People were generally totally fine with that and thought that was, helpful. I really wanted to become a practitioner, and I already knew I had a manufacturer. I knew where to get the goods and the supplies. I will say theory and practice are two very, very different things. I've been educating people on how to run successful online businesses for 4.5 years, and actually doing it is much harder than telling people how to do it or teaching people how to do it, which I think that like everyone's probably like, yeah, of course. But I mean, I wrote books on how to do this stuff. I was interviewing hundreds of entrepreneurs and C-suite executives at like GE and major corporations, right? I was like, I know how to do this. And turns out I kind of only know maybe a little bit how to do it. I clearly know how to get it up and running and started. I know enough to know when a certain paid acquisition channel isn't hitting the revenue goals that I want to, and like when to pull out. But overall, I mean, I think all of us, and I think this might be true for really all small business owners, even like executives at major corporations, all of us are really just trying to figure out what is the thing that's going to stick, right? And the best way to make those decisions is just testing things out, and then pulling back when something isn't working, or doubling down on something when it is.
Right. And curious, from your experience, have you noticed that you have to test more often because there are way more things to be testing, or do you just pick a few and kind of run with those until those are done?
Yeah, so I pick a few. And the first one that I picked in the e-commerce space, which I think is very, very natural for a bunch of folks to do, is Facebook, right? Like Facebook has great targeting. The cost isn't too high. We'll get back to this guy in a second. The cost isn't too high. There's just so many success stories online about people using Facebook to grow to multi-millions in revenue, right? I venture to guess that most of those people doing that were doing that in 2015 or 2016 or 2017. I don't think they were in 2018 or 2019 for a variety of reasons, mostly because that's when everybody started going to Facebook and doubling down. It became oversaturated. As a result, it became a lot more expensive. That said, I had written multiple blog posts, interviewed a bunch of people, even written a book on how to do Facebook advertising. Granted, that book was about a year old at the time. And I started doing it in January and ended up forgetting to turn it off and overspent by $500. That just went out the dang window. Got nothing for it. And then about 2 months later, I was like, you know what? That's totally fine. I understand Facebook better now. It's going to be different. I have new creative. Ended up doing the exact same thing. So I have essentially overspent $1,000 on Facebook in a self-funded company where I've already put money towards getting the site designed and built out, right? I don't have $1,000 to just be throwing at Facebook. As a result, I've pulled out entirely from Facebook, and I'm looking at very different models of acquisition. For instance, content marketing and SEO, community building, as well as really just focusing on community building, but the community in general, right? So I sell bed pillows, which is a pretty saturated market. A bunch of people sell bed pillows. It's one of the questions I get a lot is, how do you stand out in a saturated market? And one of the ways that I'm doing that is, one, partnering with local people who have that same kind of sustainability mentality as I do, and complementary products. So one of the companies I partnered with sells robes and pillows go together very well. They also have sustainable practices in making those robes. And then I'm also doing, flyers and printouts and working with, apartment complexes and moving companies in terms of okay, let's get these flyers in there. I'm also super interested. I haven't done it yet, but I want to. So maybe everybody would like to see it soon. I found out that I can buy a billboard on I-10, one of the most trafficked highways in the United States, on I-10 when you're leaving Louisiana, coming into Texas, there's like nothing there. You can buy it on the side of the road there for $1,000 a month, which is what I overspent on Facebook and got nothing for $1,000 a month. And I can have it say something like, welcome to the softer side of Texas, with some like cool kind of like picture and image and my logo. And then I can use that for social media, for blog posts, for more visibility, on top of just like getting people as they're driving to see it. So I'm really looking into more stuff like that, that's maybe a little bit more outside of the box, maybe a little bit more traditional. But I truly cannot afford to play the game on Facebook right now. It's not working for me. I don't have the money to spend or waste there. And brands like, Allbirds or Outdoor Voices, or even, P&G, who's really getting into the game, those brands have a lot of money to spend there.
Right.
I can't compete with them, so I'm looking other places. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if a billboard would be the right alternative, right? I do know that my pillows are made in the United States, that they are upcycled from United States waste, and that they are blown and sewn in Texas, and that I'm a 5th generation Texan and I live in Austin. And so it might make sense for me to target the Texas audience, right? And as a result of that, maybe an easy way to do that, or maybe an interesting way to do that, is to capture people on a highway coming in from another state to Texas, where Texas is typically known for like cactuses and cowboy boots, though maybe not in East Texas where it's like all trees. But for being maybe less of a soft state, right? So can I capture attention with something a little bit different, knowing that my story when they get to the site is still a Texas story, right?
Yeah, and the key is to measure it afterwards.
Yeah. The key is to measure it afterwards. Same thing with apartment complexes or people who are moving, right? Like I want to do a test for direct mail to folks who have just moved. Here's the real meat and potatoes of it, though. None of us, no small business owner, is going to go out there and win against P&G, or even some of the small businesses who have grown really big, right? You think Allbirds, Outdoor Voices, all of those folks. Those people have money, they have community, they can buy presence, right? Small businesses cannot do that. One of the only things that small businesses can do, and one of the big advantages that small businesses actually have, is partnering with each other. It's a tide that rises, right? It's working within a community or on a specific topic, and really helping to grow that visibility, both for your own brand, but also for the things that you're passionate about. That's how brands like Allbirds and Outdoor Voices became the brands that they were. They weren't working by themselves. Most small businesses, as they are growing, are not working by themselves. You just don't get a lot of places like that. My partnership with Highway Robery, I mean, really all we did was a photo shoot together that we split the cost on, and now we both use those photos on our Instagrams and on our sites, and we just tag one another when we post, and that's it, right? So like, would you really know that that's a partnership? But it is a partnership. We split costs. Photo shoots are expensive. It's a lot better if I can go into that with somebody and get some really cool pictures that also feature some like cool looking ropes.
What's your primary focus when you have a budget? So like, you have a lot of SEO, you have content marketing, you have blogging, where do you put most of your energy, unless you are doing it literally evenly throughout?
Right. So because my expertise is in content marketing and SEO, I'm putting more weight there. But that's because I don't have to pay anybody. It's me doing it. So that's helpful. So I put a lot of weight there. I also just put a lot of weight into not necessarily, yes, partnerships, but networking, right? So making sure that I'm constantly talking to people, telling them the background of what Doris is, why I started it, at least when they ask. I don't want to impose on anybody, excuse me. But yeah, just making sure that I'm meeting people, making sure that I'm telling people my story, why I started it, why I believe in it, why I believe these pillows at this time, educating people about foam and how terrible foam is, which I'd encourage everybody to look up, because I will not preach it here, but it's super important to know about, especially because you put your face on that every single night. Not great.
So yeah, I'm thinking about my pillows all day right now.
Yeah, yeah, you're like, crap, I need new pillows. But yeah, so I'm really trying to invest in things that I know I'm good at and know that I can control, and that I'm not having to spend a whole bunch of money on, and that's because I'm self-funded. I've had venture folks reach out asking for pitch decks and investor decks, and I'm not interested, at least not right now. The reason is because I don't want to give away any of the company right now. I just started it. It is a fun project that I am working on. It's growing. I'm getting sales. I'm doing better and better. I don't need venture investment. And on top of that, I don't want venture investment to come in and one, muddy the waters in terms of decision making. When you accept capital, when you accept a venture, you give part of the company away. And as a result, those people get to help make business decisions.
Right.
Two, I like being a little bit cash strapped. I think that's important. I think it helps me make better decisions. I think it forces me to focus on community. It forces me to focus on the things that I am good at, that I can control, on networking. I think that stuff over time actually builds a better long-term business, rather than necessarily seeing that like huge hockey stick growth at the beginning.
Right.
Huge hockey stick growth at the beginning is great, but there are a lot of brands out there who have had that, who are no longer in existence, right? Because they didn't build that community. They didn't build those systems and those networks. I'd rather not do it that way. And most venture money that startup retailers or startup e-commerce brands get end up going into Facebook marketing or Facebook advertising. And that's great. There's certainly room for that. And I guess when you have that money, you can actually pay to afford the cost of customer acquisition over there. But it's expensive. It's really expensive. And acquiring customers through Facebook does not a loyal customer make. So instead, even if you were putting a bunch of money into Facebook advertising, you still need content. You still need community. You still need really great email marketing. You still need people to care about you for a reason other than the Facebook ad you put out there.
Right.
And venture money certainly can help you get more eyeballs and more visibility. But if you aren't thinking about it in terms of building a community and building a content and having a purpose and a why, then those folks aren't going to come back and buy from you. So like really helping and encouraging people there. I'm going to be looking to kind of starting a sleep series in the future. So helping people better understand sleep habits and helping them sleep better. I myself am lucky in that I don't have any sleep issues or problems. I can pretty much fall asleep anytime.
Lucky.
Anywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But talking to people and explaining, how other people can, have better work-life balance, how you can get to sleep faster, how you can have less anxiety, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think, and that's huge. I mean, so what you're doing is you're providing education beyond just your pillow. You're providing education on the whole experience.
Oh, right. The goal is to provide education, to provide an experience. The pillow is just a product, right? You can buy it or you cannot buy it. Ultimately, though, I want Doris to be seen as a brand in the world that is helping, to be a little bit more eco-friendly, helping to get foam out of our bedrooms, and helping us all sleep better at night.
I love it.
Live better lives.
Awesome. So to end this, where can we find Doris Sleep? Where can we find you on social media or on the onlines?
On the online. So Doris Sleep is dorissleep.com, and then it's also Doris Sleep on Twitter and Instagram. And if you just want to follow and hang out with me, I'm Tracey Wallace on Twitter and Instagram. So pretty easy.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Tracey.
Thank you.
You're going to be back again, right?
I'm going to be back again.
Awesome, because there's so much.
Third time will be the charm.
It's insane how much we can talk about. I only went through half of this, like half. So thanks again, Tracey. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Go visit Doris Sleep.
Thanks,
and if you haven't washed your pillow in 2 years, or not washed or replaced, just make it naked.
Just take it off. Look at it. Brown's bad.
Brown's bad.
You know that though.
And if you have any more questions, as an entrepreneur, you can always join Facebook's our Workonomy group on Facebook, our Workonomy group on LinkedIn, and go ahead and give Office People a follow on Instagram and Twitter and all that fun stuff. You might see this mug up there once in a while. And thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the Workonomy groups.